Matrix versus KPI. Metrics are measures of quantitative assessment commonly used for comparing and tracking performance. In simple terms, a metric is a calculation between two measures. For example, absenteeism, revenue per employee, etc. For example, we can consider a company where we have to calculate absenteeism, so we need to divide the number of absents by number of people working in the company. To understand further about revenue per employee, performance metrics and KPI, we are sharing an Excel sheet for your reference. This sheet covers 50 HR important performance metrics. In another example, if we want to calculate revenue per employee, then we have formula in the sheet to execute it, by dividing total revenue of the company by total number of employee. Every KPI is a metric, but not every metric is a KPI. For better understanding, you can go through resource folder and download the cheat sheet 50 HR metrics. Key performance indicators help define your strategy and clear focus. Metrics are your business as usual measures that still add value to your organization but aren't the critical measure you need to achieve. For example, engagement rate, retention rate. Key performance indicators, KPIs, and metrics are both essential tools in evaluating the performance of an organization, project, or individual. While they are often used interchangeably, there are nuanced differences between them. KPIs are specific and measurable values that demonstrate how effectively an organization is achieving its key business objectives. They are directly linked to strategic goals and indicate the progress towards those goals. Metrics are quantifiable measures used to track and assess the status of a specific process, activity, or area of performance. They provide data points that can be analyzed to gain insights into performance but may not always be directly tied to strategic objectives. Measure differences, KPI and metrics. KPIs are directly tied to strategic objectives and reflect the critical success factors of an organization. They focus on the most important aspects of performance that directly contribute to the organization's success. Metrics may or may not be directly tied to strategic objectives. They can encompass a broader range of performance indicators, including operational, financial, or tactical measures. KPIs typically focus on high-level, overarching goals and objectives. They provide a clear indication of whether the organization is on track to achieve its strategic vision. Metrics can focus on various aspects of performance, including operational efficiency, financial health, customer satisfaction, and more. They provide detailed insights into specific areas of performance. KPIs are used for strategic decision-making at the executive level. They help leaders understand overall performance and prioritize actions to achieve strategic objectives. Metrics are used for both strategic and operational decision-making. They provide actionable data for managers and teams to identify areas for improvement and make informed decisions at various levels of the organization. Working on project to understand metrics and KPI. Example. We can see an example in our Excel sheet as we have two higher officials. First, the CEO, whose goal is to establish a fastest petrochemical company by 2025, so he would set goals and make KPI. The CEO want to increase the sales by 20% and net income by 15%. The net sales will be considered as top line and the net income will be considered as bottom line. The top line does not refer to income, this is considered as sales only. The net income is considered as bottom line, which actually means profitability. Now the head HR will make the KPI. The first KPI he or she would make is to build robust talent acquisition strategy to support business initiatives. The next KPI of head HR would be to retain the key talents and promote employee engagement. Now we are going to meet metrics, so metrics for head HR will be source of hire, and time to accept job offer, so these are the metrics that will help the company to achieve the goal to increase net sales of 20% and net income of 15%. This Excel sheet gives us a simple understanding of KPI and metrics, and this is connected to the CEO goals. Both the metrics and KPI representation in the sheet is the organization strategy and HR strategy, and finally it is said to be cascade down. We will also understand HR practices now in terms of KPI or metrics in more detail through various graphical representations and statistical data further in this course. So let's delve into the same now. Use of 25 metric or KPIs that HR professionals consider. How engaged are your employees? Example. The graph illustrates as an example of metrics for an organization for high absenteeism rate for 5 years, further indicates that employees are not engaged and it can be checked by the absenteeism rate. This graph presents a consistent downfall in the absenteeism rate after 2012, but initially it was high in 2012. Furthermore, this graphical data elaborates what metrics or KPI policies must be used by HR professionals in order to reduce it in the company. Metric or KPI. How do you monitor your employees' workload? Example 2. This graphical representation is another example to calculate the average overtime hours for different age group using metric and KPI policies in the company. Additionally, this observation makes us learn that how do we monitor our employees' workload of different age group, whether it is balanced or not. The current graph shows an unbalanced figure of overtime, which needs to be improvised to reduce the cost of company. Do you invest in your employees? In our another segment of graphical representation, we need also to make assessment of investments for employees, for their training and returns using metrics techniques. We can make comparisons of total investments in training and net returns accordingly. This graph represents the data of training for 2 categories, one of 3 years occupation and another of 2-year occupation, where the 2-year occupation has more net returns compared to 3 years occupation training sessions. How much does each department cost you? In another analytical observation, HR must be aware about the cost involved for every individual department in the company. The given donut chart presents the statistical percentage of company's cost here for admin and HR, customer support, finance and accounting, IT, product and sales and marketing. These analytical data shown in the figure is yet again the segments of metrics or KPI. How are the salaries developing by department? The graph given here illustrates salary cost development for the last 10 quarters between 2021 to 2023, which shows rising trend first then sloping, and again elongating with similar pace. Additionally, this graph caters a competitive observation between salaries and revenue for all the departments of the company. How are the salary costs developing by country? As above, this graph caters metrics based on the salary costs developing by countries like Germany, India, UK, and France. Rest of the graphical trends are the same with rising trends, sloping and elongation later on. This graph also caters a competitive understanding of salary costs in different countries. By analyzing metrics such as total labor costs, average salary per employee, and salary expense as a percentage of revenue, organizations can gain insights into their spending patterns over time. Additionally, monitoring KPIs like employee productivity, turnover rate, and labor cost per unit produced enables companies to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of their workforce management strategies. By regularly evaluating these metrics and KPIs, businesses can make informed decisions regarding compensation structures, staffing levels, and operational improvements to ensure sustainable growth and profitability. Do you measure the effectiveness of employees? This gauge chart and line graph measures the overall labor effectiveness, OLE, during span of 5 years. It is evident that the employees had been working effectively in 2013 and 2017, respectively, with highest 82% of achievements, but then year 2016 was sloped to 76% of achievements. This graph also caters the information about the overall average labor effectiveness percentage between 2012 to 2017. This is how we can use metrics and KPI policies in an organization to track the overall productive measures. How satisfied are your employees? This gauge chart shows the metrics of talent management or learning team of an organization. Additionally, it makes us learn to measure the effectiveness of the training program. Key metrics may include employee turnover rates, time to fill vacancies, training investment per employee, performance appraisal results, and employee satisfaction scores. These measurements help organizations understand their strengths, areas for improvement, and the overall health of their talent management practices. Are employees satisfied with their managers? This plot scatter graph is representation of employee satisfaction and manager feedback score. This metric shown in the graph states that, if there is a positive correlation between manager feedback and employee satisfaction, it suggests that providing constructive feedback can lead to higher levels of employee satisfaction, which in turn can improve employee retention and productivity. What does it take to find the perfect fit? This pie chart illustrates the distribution of average cost of hiring by seniority level among junior level and middle level, providing a visual representation of the relative proportions of each within the total. As we can see, we have an average cost of $4,180 per year for the purpose, and we have calculated the same by adding all the variables and dividing them by 3. How do you find the best recruitment method? The recruitment metric shown includes percentage of hiring targets done by 3 HR professionals. The representation shows the comparison statistics of all 3 and the conclusions based on their performance. Identify which person performed the best in terms of recruitment based on the chosen metrics. Anna F. is the leading performer with 12% of conversion rate and Teresa T. with the minimum conversion rate of 8%. The best recruitment method is always supported by data-driven decisions and optimizing industry-based trends. How long do you need to find a new employee? Given bar graphs, metrics illustrates the average time to find new employee with 2 variables as time to fill and target for different domains such as customer service, marketing, sales, HR, finance and accounting, and engineering, data science. The time to fill metric reflects the duration taken to complete the recruitment process or accomplish a task, while the target signifies the ideal or desired timeframe established by the organization. This graph enables stakeholders to assess performance efficiency by evaluating how closely the actual time aligns with the predetermined target, thereby identifying areas for improvement or commendation in meeting organizational objectives. How many new and lost employees are there? The recruitment metric shown includes primarily 3 variables: the total number of employees, the new hires, and the lost one within the span of last 10 quarters. The first quarter shows that the lost employee are greater in numbers as compared to the new ones, but the 5th quarter resembles the number of lost and new both. In the later tenure after 5th quarter, there is a downfall in the lost employee quantity and gain in the new hiring. The trend in total headcount directly influences the performance of key performance indicators, KPIs, related to workforce efficiency and productivity. The ratio of new hires to total headcount over time serves as a crucial metric in evaluating recruitment strategies and workforce planning effectiveness. What is your average tenure length by seniority? The average tenure length of the employees given in the graph depicts the different level job length in the organization. It illustrates that the organization has an average rating of 3.9 years for all the executive, senior level, mid-level, and entry-level employees, whereas the senior level has maximum stay of 6 years and entry-level employees have short stay of 1.7 years only. It has been observed that for mid-level positions, job tenure metrics reflect employee engagement and career progression, influencing KPIs such as productivity and departmental performance. At entry level, shorter job tenures might signify factors like skill acquisition or turnover rates, impacting KPIs such as recruitment efficiency and onboarding effectiveness. Analyzing job tenure across these levels provides valuable insights into talent retention strategies, succession planning, and overall organizational resilience. Is your diverse workforce leaving the company? Voluntary turnover impacts the succession planning efforts. HR needs to ensure that key positions are adequately filled and there is pipeline of talent to mitigate the impact of voluntary leavers on critical roles. Overall, tracking voluntary leavers is essential for HR process to assess the health of the organization, areas of improvement, and implement strategies to mitigate turnover and its associated impacts. The above figure illustrates the range of diverse voluntary leavers employees in the organization, where the blacks are the top with 18% of retirement and person with disabilities with minimum of 7%, whereas the overall leavers of the organization is 15%. How many employees do you need to change? This is another graphical representation of the talent turnover and evaluation of the key position engagements in the organization. The graph illustrates the average involuntary and voluntary percentage of the organization in order to adjust its workforce size and composition to remain competitive. The high turnover rates or low engagement scores may indicate the need for changes to improve employee retention and motivation. We are witnessing the average voluntary percentage is higher than involuntary engagements, but again we are also witnessing that the finance department has bigger issues of voluntary retirements, but IT department is stable as compared to marketing, HR and finance. The IT department is showing a massive termination of the employees by the organization. Are you recruiting the right employees? This graph illustrates the dismissal rate metrics. While KPIs and metrics provide valuable data points, they should be used in conjunction with qualitative assessments to make informed decisions about whether HR is recruiting the right people. Key performance indicators KPIs and metrics can provide valuable insights into the effectiveness of the recruitment process. We can witness the above graph that delivers the data related to dismissals of the employee within tenure of 6 months and 5 years, where we observe that employees, those working for long period has less dismissal rate, whereas those working for smaller period of 1 year has higher dismissal rate of 12%. Is gender diversity present in your company? It has been a notable gesture by prominent corporate experts that diverse teams in an organization, including gender diversity, tend to outperform homogeneous teams. Different perspectives and experiences foster innovation, creativity, and problem-solving, leading to better decision-making and business outcomes. The above graph fosters the metrics of gender ratio as an important factor promoting long-term organizational success. The graph illustrates a progressive pattern of male and female delving into organizational process and varying in numbers between 2012 to 2017, but we can witness the percentage of involvement of both the genders have been well justified after 2014. Are your managerial positions diverse enough? Diverse gender role level in an organization is one of the prime factor in bringing innovative solutions to challenges in equitable workforce culture. This is also a weapon to break down the traditional culture, stereotypes and biases. The above graph illustrates an adequate percentage of role level for females as the percentage of males are dominating in both management 88% and non-management 63% sector. Furthermore, enhancing the organizational ability to cater the diverse range of needs and preferences, the equitable workforce is needed. Therefore, HR associates need to balance the workforce at every level. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR, and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR, and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR, and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted. What is the female share by department? This graph once again illustrates the gender ratio for different departments, citing the percentage of involvements. The metrics shown in the figure proclaims male and female involvement in different departments. The statistics of graph depicts that IT and sales and marketing is dominated by the males, whereas females have strong hold on admin, HR, and finance and accounting. By employing such KPIs and metrics across departments, organizations can gain insights into gender diversity and work towards fostering more inclusive environments. For instance, in tech departments, metrics may focus on the percentage of women in technical roles versus non-technical roles, or the ratio of female to male engineers hired within a specific time frame. In HR, KPIs could include the gender breakdown of leadership positions or the ratio of male to female employees promoted.